Welcome to the Tradies in Business podcast with your hosts Warwick Bidwell and Nicole Cox. Divert your phone and grab a brew as Waz and Nick unpack tips, tales, secrets and stuff-ups from guests both inside and outside your trade, helping educate and inspire you to break the cycle of gut-busting and money stress and create a true trade business.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to the Tradies in Business podcast. Hello, Warwick.
Hello, Coxie. That was actually really cool, just sitting there while you did that bit.
It's really weird, actually.
You're welcome.
It feels a bit like a pineapple. You know, those that ever-giving gift to the pineapple that you and I seem to bless upon ourselves and others frequently.
And if you're wondering what a pineapple is, then all you need to do is join the drawing board. No, that's not right. Although our drawing board members do experience fairly frequent pineappling.
They do, you know, and every time I draw out a pineapple or gift somebody a pineapple in the drawing board, I often think of Mario Karts where they're dropping bombs behind the car. Sometimes I feel like that's us just dropping pineapples. Here's another one.
Swerving and driving like a Mario Kart racer.
But it gets results, as does. Oh, do you like? I'm a bit of a Mario Kart fan. I'm terrible at it. I'm the token player in the family that always comes last, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, okay. No, I used to be a little bit addicted to Mario Kart.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was great.
I can't even fathom you playing a computer game, much less being addicted to one.
No, I must have just had a phase. Sort of like today's guest is going through a phase, and you were gonna Chuck Norris.
Nice.
And I've just Chuck Norris. You're Chuck Norris.
That was nice.
But today's guest is resisting his current phase that he's entering.
I think it's like a huge pineapple for him, and yet I think he's going to lean into it perfectly when he's ready.
Yeah, I feel like Andrew James from Accelerate Auto Electrics is today's Real Tradie Guy. Bit of a twist. He's been on the podcast. This is his third visit to the studio and had a chat with us here on the show. And so it's been interesting to share a bit of his journey and his partner Briohny in their business over the last 3 or 4 years, or perhaps longer since he was first on the show. And yeah, today's pretty cool because I think a lot of people, Coxie, wish they were influencers on Instagram or Facebook, but particularly Insta. And here we have a tradie guy who, and as he shares on this episode, he started out lying under old cars on the side of busy main road in Brisbane as a mobile mechanic and auto electrician, getting oil dripped all over him and everything. Man in a van, and now he's literally becoming an Instagram influencer in his trade business.
And he really doesn't like the whole influencer title, as you will hear in the show.
He strongly resists, and we're really helping with that during the episode. So I don't think it's what he signed up for, but
no.
But it is a really great chat with a friend of ours and a long-term client in the past, and someone who we still have a fair bit of contact with, and it's been great to see their journey in their business and how they've not just survived COVID, but actually that's turned into a big opportunity for them, despite what a lot of other trade businesses in his space are experiencing. So really good one if you're wondering how on earth to make this whole COVID thing work for you. And, if you've ever dreamt about perhaps, getting some cash chucked at you by product suppliers or other influencers so that you become an influencer, then this is definitely one to check out. Or if you just want to know how the hell a automotive dude, man in a van, has now gone to the stage of wearing chinos and R.M. Williams boots, sitting in an office in a polo shirt, then this is a great episode for you to listen to. Righto, we're joined by... Actually, I think he's becoming a bit of a regular on the podcast. This is like episode 3 or 4 or 7 or something that we've had this bloke on the show for. Andrew James from Accelerate Auto Electrics and more. Welcome back to the show, mate.
Yeah, hi. I think it might be the third time, but it's been a long time between drinks.
Well, we haven't been on in my time, so it has been a while.
Oh, so it doesn't count, Coxie? Yeah.
Well, okay, fine, we'll go there.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk to Nicole, not you.
Yes,
Yeah.
mate.
Yes, mate. That's good to see that your style hasn't changed at all. It's like, yeah, hi.
Yeah.
This is the charismatic owner of a multi-million-dollar auto electrical business, and that's how you greet a famous podcast, mate. So well done.
Thank you. I'll tell you what, I'll get really excited when you get me on Rogan.
Yeah. I'll get really excited when I'm on Rogan.
Yeah.
Righto. So you have an auto electrical business, Andrew, yourself and your fabulous partner in crime, Briohny. Coxie's shaking her head at me because I suspect my internet's gone weird. But we'll push through with that until Coxie gives me the stop sign. Cut it was. So, mate, how's business?
For us at the moment, good. Yeah, really good. On the sunny coast anyway, COVID. It doesn't really feel like we've got much going on here, and most of the businesses around us are going really well. And yeah, we're jam-packed, so we're doing quite well.
Now, you have been on the show before, and we've done a session with you as a real tradie story. We've done a where are they now kind of thing, because there was a bit of a gap there where, we got to see where you'd, I guess, developed the business or moved the business to. And I feel like you're in a place now in business that a lot of people just dream about, Andrew.
It's not all it's cracked up to be, but yeah, it's good.
Oh, come on, don't break the bubble. I've been
No.
You're coming on.
We have put a lot of work in to get to this point, and yeah, I probably do need to. Like, I spent a lot of time down in the weeds, so please don't think it. But yeah, you sort of do need to look back, and I look at previous employees that are starting out on their own, and it's like, yeah, I remember lying in that gutter. So yeah, we've moved a fair way past that, but it has taken us a while.
And a lot of hard work.
Yeah,
but it's good now. We get to employ lots of people, and yeah, like I say, we're busy, and everybody who started with us before COVID's now got a job, and 3 more guys do. So it's good.
Now, before we hit record, and I'm just going to throw this straight on the table. Before we hit record, you were saying how you guys have pretty much just been lucky that you do a lot of work for campers, 4-wheel drivers. It's in that accessory space, off-grid camping, all that sort of stuff. I think there's probably a lot of preppers that have been in to buy batteries from you in the last 6 months. And you made the comment that, you're just lucky that that's the market you're after, and it's just kind of landed for you. And I've known you for a lot of years, and we've worked together for a few of those. And I'm calling bullshit on the whole lucky thing. And I want to do that because for those of you listening to this podcast that think successful business owners have these lucky breaks or these opportunities that just seem to come along for them, it is actually not true. And I know the hard work that Andrew and Briohny, the owners of this business, have put into it, the decisions they've made, the sacrifices they've made, and I'm going to say it again. This is I heard it from someone else, and I actually think he's an upcoming guest on the podcast. But luck is the confluence of preparation and opportunity. So luck is just that point where being prepared and having an opportunity to do something intersect. And I feel like you guys have done so much preparation in this business that when this opportunity has presented itself, you've been able to take advantage of it. Would you like to disagree with me, Andrew?
I got nothing. No, yeah, maybe. I still think we're just the industry. It's just the way that the COVID's gone down, kind of thing, is being good for the ones that are involved in the stuff that we're involved in. So I think we've had a helping hand. But yeah, probably when everybody was stuck at home, all the hours we put into YouTube videos and all that internet stuff we've done has probably did pay off quite well for us as well, because those that could get an internet connection probably had the screen full of my ugly head. So okay, bit of everything. Lucky with the industry we're in, maybe we put in a bit of groundwork that's helped us come out the other end quite well.
Okay, so I'm going to call bullshit again, though.
No,
You didn't know this was a grill session, did
no,
you, mate?
I
You were
thought we
doing
were
this to
friends.
help us out.
I thought we
I
were going, yeah.
still call bullshit because there are dozens of auto electricians out there and they're not niching in the area that you're niching in. So you've made a decision to be in the area that you're in. So I'm sorry, that's still bullshit.
All right, you win.
I'm impressed. Like, we know a lot about the work that you've been doing over this time, and it's a lot about what we wanted to talk about today. Plenty of businesses kind of, I guess, got sucked into the negativity of what was going on, and they got worried and got bogged down in that rubbish rather than looking forward and spending the time proactively, which we know that you did. But we'd love for you to share some of that stuff that you did do whilst we were all unable to do much, so that you were still in front of everyone. And the second they were able to, they're back purchasing from you straight away.
Yeah, okay. I guess we got a lot of videos. Like, we've put a lot very heavy on our videos and trying to be clever about what people are searching for and what questions they want answered. That's probably one of the main things. And we definitely, even when I had to, like everybody else, I had to, I don't know what the correct term is, lay off, let them go, send them home, whatever it was. I had to do that for everybody. But even, I think the weekend that we did that, we actually ramped up our advertising. So we probably did the opposite of what most people did, because I had faith in the Australian economy. It couldn't go on for forever. And yeah, I sort of, I don't know, maybe a business coach, maybe, I don't know, some guy I know that we're talking to might have said a long time ago, when things are quiet, that's the time to spend money on advertising. And so, yeah, we definitely did do that. That was a conscious decision to ramp up the advertising and push it, the internet side of it, so that it was ready to go once the switch did get turned back on, and luckily it did with the JobKeeper, and the rest is history.
So we talk to a lot of, I guess, the construction trades on the show, and another shameless motivation for chatting to you today, Andrew, is obviously you're in the auto industry, and there are some differences. Although business is business, and I think a lot of people listening to the show probably get that fundamentally, there are some differences for those of you listening to this that are in the auto industry, whether it's mechanical, whether it's auto electrical, even if it's, in that sort of semi-retail service side of tyre shops and that sort of stuff. And you've sat on one of our boards, Andrew, for a little while. What would you say is actually different between the construction trades and the auto trades?
From what I saw when I sat on the board with three people in the building industry, that did actually, make me feel lucky. Because we made a decision our main customer base is retail, and we're high volume, high customer, good customer retention, but lots of retail customers rather than having 3 or 4 big contracts kind of thing. And I sort of saw it's a lot easier for us to pivot, make decisions, change things up that can have a reaction very quickly. And also we don't have the regulation that I sort of saw go on with those industries, like, when people dealing with dangerous building materials and so on, and they were talking about the hoops they had to jump through. Obviously, we have strict regulations, but it seems to be a bit looser in our industry, so we're able to pivot and change a lot quicker and offer a much greater range of services. Because I can do 150 customers a week. I can do 150 different jobs rather than having to say this is exactly what I do. So that's been really good. That sort of made me realise that we're quite lucky with the industry we're in and the services we can provide, and we're not so pigeonholed.
So interesting on that with your services, and to take it back to where we were talking around COVID and how the times were stressful for most business owners, but for you made some really careful decisions around what you were going to do. Since then, have you extended the range of services that you currently offer? Was that
100%.
a lever that you pulled?
No, yeah, totally, 100%. It's not finalised yet. But we got a branding specialist on at the moment. We're coming out with another brand, and we're going to push a lot heavier into the accessory space and broaden our horizon a bit more and try and offer a more complete service to customers. I used to try and do everything. I owned a mechanical shop as well, and then I realised I was spread too thin. So then I niched down, and we got smaller. We pretty much cut our labour and our turnover, our staff, everything in half. And now we've grown that other half, and now I'm sort of going to head in a different direction, but just more, rather than having multiple different businesses, just grow one business with multiple offerings. It's more keep it all under the same roof, try and simplify. But yeah, we definitely used the time to expand because if nothing else, it gave me a bit of breathing space to step back and have a think. The time off was really good. I don't know. I just spent 3 weeks at home with my kids, which is awesome. And with nothing really going on at work that much. So, it was good chance to think.
Lucky opportunity, really, wasn't it?
No, so it's funny. We were with a couple. I'll say we were on a Zoom meeting with a couple other people because anything else would have been wrong. And a person way higher up in a way bigger industry, full retail services industry, laughed and said, "Never waste a good crisis." And that sort of stuck with me a bit.
Yeah. It's incredible. Look, there's always opportunity for those that are gutsy enough to take the opportunity, and it doesn't need to be of a massive financial commitment. The opportunity can simply be to take a different look at what it is that we're doing and offer it in a different way that responds to the crisis that we're in. So I feel that could be taken as quite a negative statement from those that aren't able to think in that constructive way. So I'm impressed that was the advice you were given, and you actually took it up. And I can't believe, and I know the numbers that we're talking about because we spent some time together in the drawing board, but the growth within your company in a short period of time and how you've been able to quickly expand to take that on board. Again, that's not luck. That's been careful preparation and planning that's gone into the business for years so that you can take that on as it starts to come through the door, and you know how to make those critical decisions to employ the extra staff members. You've got your levers ready to pull. You know the advertising that works to attract the right staff. You know the marketing that works to attract the right customers. All of that stuff is stuff that you've done previously that you've just lent into when this has happened. Were there any challenging decisions for you during that time?
Oh, I screw heaps of things up. You made it sound like it all goes well. I pull what does Warwick always say? Bright shining objects attract Andrew. So yeah, I'm pretty good at different tangents all the time, and there's plenty of levers I've pulled that have screwed it up. I think for me though, luckily I got Briohny. I say I'm talking as though it's all me, but it's definitely not. I'm go down the bright. She's the handbrake and the where are the numbers at. So when I do forge off on a stupid tangent, she's very quick to rein it in and say this isn't working, and so we get a chance to pivot again back to what did work. So yeah, if it was just me, it'd be a flop. Luckily, there's the idea, but there's also the handbrake to keep up with it.
So don't tell me there's a husband and wife working a business together and leaning into their strengths and weaknesses, complementing.
Yeah, it works all right for us.
Yeah.
But there's very fine, she deals with some bits, I deal with the other. We try not to. I think that's what we learn early on. If you're going to go down this road, I'll try and cut it off quickly. But for us, we worked out very quickly is what I'm good at, and there's plenty that I'm not good at. Warwick will tell you, they start talking numbers and my eyes just glaze over and I start looking out the window. It's back to grade 1 at school. And vice versa, she's by far the numbers girl, and yes, if she says that this needs to be done, then I don't get involved, and kind of vice versa. We're pretty good at sort of going, that's your decision, and trusting each other that we'll be right.
I won't take us too far down that rabbit hole, but
Please
it is really important that you have that distinction between what your role is and what her role is, and taking the time to sort out right in the very beginning who's good at what, and that's what we'll lean into. And it creates, there's not only is it better for you as a couple, it's better for you in business, but it's also better for your team, which is a huge part of what you do. And I'll cut that tangent off now and go back to the fact that I know that you have a great support team behind you, and you've put a lot of work into ensuring that you have the right people in place to help with that. And we've actually used you as an example to a couple of our other drawing board members around your marketing experience and what you've actually done there. I'd love you to share a little bit about who you have in your team and how that came about.
Yeah, well, I think one thing I definitely do different to everybody else, well, no, I shouldn't say that, but one dice we rolled that was unusual for the industry was taking on a full-time marketing person. And so I wanted to do it, and the totally I'm gonna, and it got put in the gunner basket. And the same Briohny, she's very good at it and is quite capable, but that's we got 3 young kids as well, and blah 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 blah. So again, she was gunner, and she sort of started, and it didn't happen, and then we just sort of decided that it was what we needed to do and rolled the dice. And luckily, we found a really good girl, so a really good team member, who's been really good for us, fit in really well, and she's been great. So, but yes, we are an automotive workshop that's got a full-time, non-billable person sitting there doing the Facebook, as she hates what I say. And even my mates who own workshops who've watched me go, they still sit there and say, I can't fathom how you can justify spending the money on that. And to me, it's probably one of the easiest wages I pay.
Absolutely. The return on investment's amazing.
Everything I pay comes back, and they don't screw anything up. Because it just happens, and even the flops turn into something good because you learn from it and move forward. And it's don't everybody do it, because then we'll have no edge to it. But it's been a pretty good roll of the dice.
But I think for you guys, you're so far ahead in the reputation you've built in the marketplace through your consistent, quite high volume marketing that you've done. I mean, you referenced earlier the whole COVID thing, people sitting around at home bored, so they're watching your YouTube videos. It's like...
I don't get it. I cannot think of the last thing I'd want. I do like 22 seconds of watching my videos, and I turn off. I've never watched one from go to woe ever. I couldn't even tell you what's out there, so I don't know how other people want to watch it. But anyway.
I don't know either, but anyway. But it is, you've got a bit of a lead. You're out in front by years on your competitors, which is not to say that someone can't catch up. And again, you were mentioning before we did hit record on this episode that, and I won't mention any names, but you've just secured a fairly big sponsorship deal with a national product supplier, where they've literally chucked cash at you, and they're going to promote your business. That's correct, right?
Product, but yes.
Okay.
Yes,
product.
But amazingly, beyond my wildest dreams wouldn't have happened, and a bigger sum than I would have spent on me, and I'm definitely committed to making it a good ROI for them moving forward. Everybody's going to win out of this, but I guess it's a bit of a wake up. Hey, Gracie, it's a bit of a wake up call of maybe what we do have out there. Now, how it's being received.
Yeah. Now I want to grab something there, because I know you pretty well, mate, and we've worked together at a fairly close level for a few years, and I would call you a mate as well. I'm pretty proud to.
I've never been on the back of his bike. Just saying.
There's only one person been on the back of my bike, and she's a she. Now, I know you're probably not the biggest backer of yourself around. And for you to pick up some of these deals that are coming at you now, I just wanted to see if we could dig into that a bit. And like, how are you feeling about some of this stuff? Do you have any of the imposter syndrome going on? Is there any really, is there any doubts in there? Like, how are you feeling about if you step outside yourself and your business and look at it now, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, thanks. I hadn't really thought about it till now. Literally, when you said the imposter thing, I pictured myself as somebody else that does quite well in that four-wheel drive on YouTube face. I don't know. Yeah, it seems weird. It definitely seems weird. I still feel like I'm in a van by myself on the Magic Mile, lying in a gutter under a car yard, high ice, getting dripped in oil.
Which, for our listeners' benefit that haven't heard any previous episodes, that is literally where you started. How many years ago now, Andrew?
25, pretty much. But yeah, I definitely started in the bottom of the bottom of our industry, which is car yard work, on a car yard strip, working on the cheapest high kilometre vehicles you could get was kind of my first business, driving around from car yard to car yard in a van that hardly started, fixing car yard cars. So I could probably save someone a lot of time about how to grow a business, and don't start there. So I got to make heaps of mistakes on the way.
Yeah.
For sure.
And now, just again for context for those listening to the show, 7-figure business. How many staff?
I lose track. I think there's about we just employed another 3. About 15 or so, something like that. We sort of around there. I've got a couple of guys that are sort of ex-employees now who are going to uni and stuff, so they're coming and going a bit, kind of thing in between, and modelling contracts and stuff. So yeah, somewhere around 15 or so.
Yeah. And now you're dipping your toes into the influencer space. Can you
believe? No.
Are?
I'm just advertising products for other people.
That's all an influencer.
You're an influencer, Andrew. Say it. Own it.
No. Honestly, no, I'm not owning it. I'm not. That's not where I want to be. I don't want to be an influencer. I just want to be somebody who shows what we do, how we can do it, and the products that we use and why we use them.
Which by definition is...
No, an influencer is somebody who gets free stuff and spreads it for other people.
And I think they've ruined it, though.
I am doing it to try and show the quality that can be done by a business out there so other people can see it. Yeah. And I want it to roll back in them. Yeah, it's different. I don't want to be one of the people who rings up and says, give me free stuff and I'll show you it. I want to be the person who... just uses that social media to drive work to his own business
platform.
And maybe improve the industry. Sorry,
I've seen the photos of your chariot, mate. You're an
influencer. No. That literally, I sent that photo off to an influencer to get it edited and sent back to me so I could use it for something. But no, that is not true. But that was edited by an influencer who's very successful. So it's different. Yeah. It's different.
Now, back
is different.
Yeah, back to this whole auto industry thing. My grandfather was a mechanic. When I was 15, I wanted to be a mechanic. I'm really grateful that I didn't become a mechanic because it is an awful job. The wages are terrible. There's really not much scope compared to the construction trades. And I think it's a tough industry to build a business in, to be honest. Because of the landscape you're working with, customer perceptions and expectations around what they'll pay for stuff and what's important, a bit different to a home, I think. And unless you're probably where you guys have managed to succeed is in creating that niche and tapping into a market that will spend a lot more money on their vehicles. But you're also dealing with the rats and mice stuff. You're swapping out alternators and replacing indicator bulbs.
I had a dead rat under a dash yesterday. So funny that you said that. Literally dead rat under a dash. Had to go looking for it through a dashboard.
Oh, yuck.
So how, let's say there's a mechanic or an auto sparky or someone in the industry out there listening to this that's laying under the van, dripping oil on them beside the road. How does someone go from that and that headspace to potentially building a business like you guys have done?
Work out what jobs you actually like doing and then head for that would be me. So for us, the camping space, we love camping. I like being the guy that's like, I got a dishwasher in my caravan. That's what does it for me. Laugh at me if you will, but I don't do dishes and I got 3 kids. Yay. And so I find that enjoyable, and that offering to other people is, obviously it's financially cool because the people who want their dishwasher in their caravan to work is the people that generally are willing to pay for it. But yeah, the mechanics that I do know that do well and all the rest of it, they'll specialize in some sort of special transmission modification that they've come up with, or they've just built a name for being very good at a certain thing. And that's not the only thing they do, but that's what they get the rep for that sort of grows the rest of their business. So that would be my advice. Work out which bit of it you actually like, come up with do something better with that bit because you like it, so you're happy to think about it, and let that be your path, and everything else will sort of be on the side. There you go.
There's a gold nugget for you. I hope everyone's
There's
listening, taking notes. So when you think about that, and when you started that and you take it back to your marketing, and in terms of marketing, is your niche what you spend most of the time talking to, or do you still talk about all of the other things that you do as well?
Everything. Like, if it was up to me, it'd only be one thing, but luckily, again, I've got a team who literally, Andrew, we're going to do a video about this now, and I'm like, are you serious? Do I have to? Like, our number one video is the worst video ever. I just don't understand it. I don't know how many views it's got. It's ridiculous, and it's literally how to make your air conditioning cool down on a hot day, and it's like wind down your windows and turn your aircon up. It's ridiculous. I don't get it, but it's got some crazy amount of views, and I literally get an email about it once a week from different people saying thank you for that video, and I don't get it. But yeah, luckily I've got people behind me telling me to do it, and I do it. So yeah, that's been all right too.
Which creates your authority base, right? So
that's something that definitely I disagreed with in the beginning. Briohny was right, and maybe Warwick was right. Maybe that came from him, and this is way before Marketing Girl, of the videos we push out be informative and almost giving away our secrets. And it was something I was very, very, very against, and still struggle with it. But they were 100% they were right, and it has helped us, and that's without it, we'd be in trouble. But yeah, that's something I was again. The tradie in me wanted to hang on to everything and not tell anybody anything. And we still got some secrets. You know, I still get asked questions about where do you pick up the feed off this, and it's like, no way, man. I spent 3 days looking at wiring diagrams to work that out. But by the same token, we're happy to show images of any of our jobs and all the rest of it, and just those very, very, very technical things we try and keep to ourselves.
And a lot of it is customers are paying for the way you run your business. They're not paying for the way you do the wiring. It's the way you deliver that service, and how they feel about it. You know, they've watched 3 hours of your YouTube videos. They've fallen in love with your haircut. And so you could be wiring it the same as the next guy, but it's the way it's delivered to them. It's the way it's packaged, I guess. And that's where I think a lot of people get it wrong with clinging to what they think they know about the industry. There's probably little things like you say, you know, particular ways of wiring a vehicle, or I don't know, you know, putting waterproofing down. But come on, like, someone's going to figure that shit out, and it's not unique to you guys.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Market yourself is.
Yeah, answer your emails, tradies.
Speaking of email, I remember it taking I'm going to go with months for you guys to send your first email marketing campaign out. There was a fair bit of arguing going on between you guys and your business coach at the time. What are your thoughts on email? Because it's something that a lot of tradies push back on. They think people don't want to receive it, and I think especially in the auto trades, like it's not very common in the auto trades, I find. So what's your thoughts on it now, mate?
Yeah, people read them. It's weird because I have nothing to do with it at all. What goes out, I'm not going to tell you my involvement, but it's very minimal. But people read them because they come in the door. Oh, I was reading your email, blah, 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 like your EDM and blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, they definitely read them. It works. I think flipping it with emails is just answer your emails. Like, it's crazy how many, you know, I'll literally, we're really on top of it, but you'll get a customer and they'll email you for a quote or something. And it'll be a massive job, you know, 10, 15 grand's worth. And then you'll email them back and they'll go, I sent out 5 of these and you're the only one who answered back, so I'm going with you. And it's like, it took me 2 minutes. Yeah. So yeah, that's probably the one thing. But yeah, it's just answer the emails. But the weekly, fortnightly, whatever emails as well, that's seems to be get a lot. You don't really know. It's hard to quantify what you get back out of it, but people definitely read them.
It goes a long way again to leading your authority in the space and making it comfortable for people to then buy from you. It's a bit of a no-brainer if they've established that relationship with you. And I think that's the power in emails that we're not talking to enough. And like you say, tradies, they're just not comfortable doing so. And then if they do put the time and effort in, they're often not answering the emails that they're receiving. And yet that's business right there. You've done the pre-work to get them to email you in the first place. Pre-work's done, answer the email, and you've already got a foot in the door. It's a pretty simple process. There are other types of advertising that you use, though. It's not just email marketing and it's not just talking on YouTube. What else are you doing?
I guess we're quite heavy on Facebook, and we're doing more on Insta. We're still trying to work out Instagram properly, but yeah, definitely Facebook's probably our number one. We do a bit of AdWords and stuff as well. I don't know. What else do we do? I don't do brochures. I don't do brochures in letterboxes, that's for sure. Or bar mats. I had a bit of that's some fails there.
And so how do you think that what you're talking about now with this new contract, this sponsorship that you've received, how's that going to change your marketing?
Oh, it's going to be awesome for us because I've literally got, they're going to share out. And well, it just also means I've got access to a national marketing team, the number one. So it means that I can, produce something, flick it off to them and what do you think? And it's going to be great. So I'm only just cracking the don't be scared to talk to the big boys kind of thing. That's still a headspace I'm struggling with, but it's working out really well for me.
Mate, how do you go with the whole, pricing, markup, margin aspect of an auto electrical business, making money on materials and charging labour out seems to be another big hurdle for mechanics, auto electricians, anybody in your industry where they're so worried about being seen as a rip-off merchant that I see so many of them just undercutting themselves and not getting paid what they should be to be able to run a business.
Because we're pleasers. We want to please everybody, Warwick. I don't know. The biggest thing so if you're small in a van, I'll tell you my secret. Here is your golden nugget. If you're just one or two guys and you're trying to charge out your own time, put a clock on a stopwatch. For me, it was in my van. Pull up to a customer, walk around. My toolbox was in my sliding door. I'd open my toolbox sliding door. I'd hit go. And then my computer was on top of the toolbox. I'd work on the car. I'd come back. I'd hit stop and I'd do my invoice. And that is like, if you can do that, your income will go through the roof. Because you'll actually look at that clock and what you thought was really 15 minutes was now 15 minutes.
Wow, that's simple, mate.
That's simple. That was like a massive game changer for me. And I had a target. And then, this is back in the diary days when I was driving down the road with the diary beside me. And I'd just do tally marks of how many hours I'd charged out for the day, sitting on the top as I got in my van to go to the next job. And I'd have a target and I'd try and get to enough strokes for that. I don't even remember what it was now. But it was that simple, and that as soon as I started doing that would, double my income straight up because I'd actually charge what I was supposed to.
Yep.
And now we run similar system with my guys now. Everybody clocks into their job with an app, and it tracks every minute from the minute they pick up the keys to them putting the keys back down once they've finished the job. It's all tracked, and it's part of the job.
And talking of staff, it's probably another mystical kingdom for a lot of people is employees and getting, I suppose we talk about getting the most out of them, but just, being able to work with them so that they benefit, you benefit. What's been some of the keys for you, no pun intended, over the last bunch of years with growing a team and also keeping them happy and working productively?
Be nice to them.
And so who do you pay to do that? Because is that really your forte, mate?
It's changed. Like there's been that it has changed. Yeah, old Andrew's better than you, Andrew. But yeah, I like. And one employing thing is now I only employ people I like. I don't know if you're allowed to say that, but I don't want to get sued. But I need to actually like them, like and look at them as though they could potentially be a friend. Obviously, you don't cross the friend barrier, but somebody that you think, yeah, you're a trustworthy, you're a nice person, even if they come in and they're a gun mechanic, but they're not my kind of, or gun or electrician, whatever, because we employ both. If I look at them and think I don't really like you and I wouldn't want to spend time with you outside of work, then that's pretty much a red flag for me now. That's been a big thing.
Why? Can I ask why that's important?
Just because then I feel more comfortable talking to them about successes and failures, kind of thing. If you like someone, it's a lot easier to tell them how you're doing well or how you're not doing so well in a way that everything I say is written on my face. I'm not a good, I could fail poker big time. So yeah, if I actually genuinely want to talk to that person and want to engage with them, then it goes a long way for them to understand what I want as well. So yeah, I don't know. That's probably for me been one big change is no matter how good they say they are or their previous employer says they are, if they come in and I'm just like, yeah, I don't really, you're not my kind of person, then I'm out. And that's been good enough. Previously other people around me have said, why didn't you employ that person? And, I just didn't get along with them. Wasn't a satisfactory answer. And now we've sort of learned that that's, my radars kind of seems to work on that one.
I think you made a really important distinction there between getting along with someone and being friends. And it's a mistake we see time and time again business owners make. And it destroys the culture of a business. Has that been a struggle for you not to overstep that friend boundary with some of these employees?
In the beginning, I used to employ my friends, and I learned really badly. It was a fail. I shouldn't say I learned really badly. That was a bad sentence, but yeah, it was a fail, and it always didn't end as well as it should have. I think now, the first question you need to ask yourself is, am I prepared to lose the friendship if I'm going to employ this person? Because your business has got to come first, really, because especially if there's other people in the mix that need to be supported by that business, you've got to think of that. But luckily now I'm so busy with my family. I got 3 young kids, so hanging out with the boys after work is just not a thing that's going to happen. So that work friendship thing doesn't really cross boundaries because everybody knows once I'm out, I'm out. I'm at home with a baby on my hip and 2 boys trying to play so it's not really I'm definitely not going having drinks with them in the afternoon. Just my life's changed now.
Great. So what is it that you do to foster your team culture?
We do weekly team meetings. Yes, Warwick, that's your thing. Still hate it. It's funny every time we stop doing it, culture goes down and you hear my voice because I just hate it, but it's a massively beneficial thing. But yes, still weird tradies sitting around talking about how they're feeling about the week, but it's huge. And whenever we stop doing it and I let it slide, you can see, I'll say it's creeping in what's going on and are you still doing team meetings is the question. And then the answer is I'll go do one. So that's probably a major thing. And again, I think I go back to I like everybody that works for me. Yeah. And so it sort of means that we've got a certain kind of person here, which means that they all sort of get along. And if there's a bad apple, I'll just they generally deselect themselves, to be honest. I don't really have to push it out because my guys are really close. They all hang out together after work. And so, it works quite well. It sort of makes it a little bit harder when you want to bring somebody else in because they are such a little clique, but they're also quite open. And luckily we're so busy that, they're quite open to it because it's somebody else to help them. And it sort of gets brought in as, hey, here's a new guy. He's going to help you out. So show him everything you possibly can because then you won't get them all. So it's sort of, new team members are definitely, no one looks at a new team member as someone who's going to take their job because that's not how it works. I won't ever do that. They look at a new team member as somebody who's going to help them make their day easier.
It's awesome, mate. Now, we've talked around and about coaching and mentoring and, getting outside perspectives, I guess, on yourself and how you run your business. Obviously, I've worked with you a bit and you've worked with us here at Tradies in Business, mate. Can you share with our listeners, I guess, some of the trials and tribulations of taking that path, of actually allowing someone like me or Coxie to come in and poke you in the ribs and the eyeball on a regular basis?
So funny. Like, timing for this question is crazy. So I've got a really good friend. I'll actually send him this link because he'll hate me once you post this. He'll hate me for this. I'm definitely not mentioning any names. Hey Michael, how you doing? So he rang me yesterday, and there's the grants that are going out at the moment. He received the grant, and he was trying to decide. I don't actually know what he'd put down for it, and I know he was going to apply to change it if he was going to go that way, but I can't remember whether it was, one person in my business says I should spend it on marketing. I'm thinking about coaching, but I'm saying, and this is like literally his line, you'll love this, Warwick. It's like, but I just can't believe that it's marketing. Because I got more work than I can handle, but my staff don't want to work. I can't get them working any faster. I can't get off the phones. Why the hell would we spend money on marketing? Because the guys aren't going to do the work for me, and I'm just doing it all myself anyway. And I was like, oh my God, spend the money on coaching, dude. So yeah, I can't recommend it enough. I've been with two seriously over the years. There was both of them very successful. It's definitely not ended badly, hence why we're here. I think that, just as you grow, sort of things change and so on. But definitely there's no way in hell I would be sitting here while my business runs without me yapping at a microphone, without all the years and money I spent on business coaching, which, like marketing, has paid me back 20-fold. And even if you're thinking, oh my God, it's X amount a year, they better make me back this year, look at it as an education, because what you're going to use is going to pay you off the next 20 years. I'm not spooking you, Warwick, at the moment, because I've been with a couple and I'm not on here paid to talk about how good Warwick is, but a coach and a mentor is worth every cent.
I really want to ask a
But
big
Warwick
question.
is pretty good. He's been good.
He's
for
all
me.
right. He goes all right.
I'd recommend him to others. But
Thanks
anyway,
for the glowing accolade, Andrew.
He goes
you started
okay.
off talking me up, so here we go.
No one's going to believe you anyway. Coxie, ask a question, please, quick.
No,
He's
I
ready.
like this. You're blushing. It's great.
Yeah, it's actually good.
Not everyone can be coached, right? And we're not all at the stage where we're ready to be coached, because it takes a lot of work and a lot of looking at yourself. Because there's a lot of times when, as a coach or a mentor, you actually have to turn up and say, okay, dude, you're the problem here. You're the issue. We need to look at this a little bit differently.
I used to get slammed. I used to get absolutely slammed. No, it was not comfortable.
And yet you'd do it again anyway, right?
Oh yeah, certainly. Yeah. Certainly, I think at each point of growth, you need to do it. If you're back to the husband and wife thing, maybe have separate coaching sessions. Maybe if you're gonna do that, Warwick will laugh at that. But yeah, it certainly was not easy. Luckily, I'd sort of been pre-lubed before I started with Warwick with another guy that's pretty straight up, a friend of Warwick's. He was pretty good at telling me how it was as well. So I sort of knew what I was in for. But definitely, you need to cop it, take action, and move forward, because otherwise you're just doing same old.
Yeah, the essential step to growth is getting out of your own way, and sometimes that needs to be pointed out by someone, right? Somebody needs to be poking you in the chest and saying, Andrew, you're the problem here, or Andrew, you're creating a problem that isn't there, or whatever it might be. And it's not easy to take on, but it's essential to hear for that change, or the opportunity for change to come. Yeah.
Well, no, they always bring it back to the sporting analogy. No good athlete really is, every athlete's better with a coach. So there you go.
So I wanted to ask about, it's easy for people to deflect their results to their coach or mentor, and as coaches, I guess I'd be lying if I said Coxie and I didn't feel great when people thank us and name us, or you've said some wonderfully complimentary things. So it's a good thing Christmas is coming up, mate. But I actually feel like it's a bit cart before the horse, because coaches are only as good as their clients' willingness to actually change. And I wanted to get a bit of perspective from you, Andrew, on what you had to do to get results out of myself and Wado and the other people that have been on your team over the years.
Answer the questions. That's my. Answer the questions when you get asked the questions. I'm struggling with the big question at the moment. Is trying to do some goal setting. So that's probably why I don't have a coach at the moment, because I think, answer the questions. Start off with what I want to do. And I got asked by another guy the other day who's building just a handyman thing, and should I engage a coach? He's been talking to somebody locally. And my question was, well, what do you need to decide what you want out of him before you start. So, set the goal that's actually your goal. Be prepared to change it, and then when you bring them on, and they, to be honest, coaching doesn't seem like rocket science. I'm going to take something away from you here, worry, but it's like, well, what do you want to do? What should you be doing it? Why isn't it working? Okay, let's do that. So that seems to be it. But no one does that personally at all. You'd never do it without a coach. But that would be it. Answer the questions, write it down. If it's not on the wall, it's not real, and stick to it.
I love how you've really embraced all of these principles.
Oh,
Andrew.
man, I got them all.
For the people listening to the audio, to the podcast, Andrew has rolled his eyes so many times he should start playing soccer.
I can tell you that if it's not written down, it's not real. What's another one? Bubble below the line. That's all right. And I still use it, and it sucks. And there's somebody else in my business that's actually previously worked for a coach, and so we backwards and forwards, and the rest of the staff find it so amusing. But and whenever situations occur with conflicts and so on with staff, it's like, and we talk to her about it, she just laughs and she's like, I'm coached way too far for that to ever happen. And it is true, yeah.
So just on that, mate, do you indoctrinate any of your team with those things that you've learned from your coaches and mentors?
A little bit. Like, certainly good old extreme ownership plays a big part around here. That's probably the biggest one that's siphoned down through the team. There's no real blaming here. Everybody, it's always pretty easy to find the source of something, and it generally does come back to you. The Boat Crew 6 conversation's probably been a total life changer for me. That's probably the main one, but I don't know, everything comes from the top. So whether it's not, I don't have the thing stuck on the wall, but it pretty much is, just because the better people get to know me, they know that I'm not going to accept the blame game as an excuse. So it just doesn't really flow on. Does that make sense? And I don't do it. I definitely don't do the blame thing. I somehow, the opposite now, it's probably detrimental to me, but I always seem to find everything that goes wrong somehow managed to work out how it was my fault in the beginning. So, I had a team member have an issue with the customer and all the rest of it, and he was waiting to come in and get blasted, and the first thing he got out of me was, okay, well, I set you up to fail because I put you in this situation. I didn't do this and I didn't do that, so let's work out how that's not going to happen. So that's probably more how the principles flow on through the business, rather than having it jammed on the wall and standing there every day saying we're going to do this.
Were you always that way, though?
No, I wasn't.
That was a leading question.
But it's a loaded question, and I'm asking it because a lot of people listen to guys like you or girls like you talk about business and how you run a team now, and they read books by Jocko, Extreme Ownership is the one we're referencing, Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. And I think people forget that those same people like you, Andrew, started somewhere and had to figure that out and actually change along the way. So it's why I sort of ask that almost a bit of a cheeky question of, were you always able to take ownership of this stuff?
No, not at all. It's everybody's fault. my team was crap, everything was crap, my suppliers were crap, my customers were crap, and yeah, I guess I had to get to that point of just going, there's a certain incident with a shopping trolley and a wall, and that was a bit of a turning point, and I know you remember the phone call, and yeah, that was probably when it changed for me. Of a different mindset can change everything. I think you wake up in the morning and you come back in and do something different, and away you go.
Can I draw a long bow? But I just want to reference this back because overwhelmingly a lot of guys listen to us, and one of their motivators for talking to us or joining the group or doing what they're doing is that they want to be present in their kids' lives. And I know that you're very present in your kids' lives, but I wanted to draw how that changed, that shift in attitude for you. Do you find that being able to take ownership and getting to know more about your personality, how has that helped you be a better parent? Because I'm sure it has.
Oh, I don't know. I'm still there. Don't go there. I'm only 7 years down the track. Wait till ask me it in another 20 years, and I'll see what comes out the other end, and then we'll decide how I went. So I know some amazing parents. Yeah, some amazing parents that have got ratbag kids, and some ratbag parents that got some amazing kids. So I'm not sure.
But it creates you as a person. You're a better parent. You're able to lead your children in a way for them. And there's no guarantees. They can fall into a bad crowd at any time. But just through your own extreme ownership, you manage to take time out to spend with your kids. That makes you a better father. That makes them more connected. You're a better family unit. Those things are really important to acknowledge.
Yeah, okay.
You just got coached.
I'm out. I try, yeah, but I do try. It's definitely a high priority of mine to be a good dad and be a role model for my kids. So I do try. I have plenty of failures along the way.
Are you proud of your boys?
Sorry?
Are you proud of your boys?
Oh, yeah, of course. I got a 7-year-old that paddles out the back, and all he wants to be is a lifeguard, and he can get absolutely rolled by a monster wave and get back up with a smile on his face and have a crack again without coming bawling to me in tears. So, yeah, 100%. Like, yeah, my kids are awesome.
I think that answers the question, mate. Hey, I'm going to ask my not very famous question, but if you had 1,000 automotive industry tradies in a room, what's one piece of advice you would leave with them, Mr. Andrew Janes?
Yeah, pick what you like out of the industry and go down that road. Don't be doing the stuff you don't like. That's why I got rid of the mechanical workshop. I just didn't like it. It could have been a very profitable, good business, but I just didn't like it.
That's good advice.
Short,
mate.
Sharp, and shiny.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now, future. What's, apart from being an influencer, what's the future hold for you and Accelerate Auto Electrics and the team?
Our main goal is to have the business running fully autonomously, and I'd love to do the lap around Australia with the kids. You know, that's probably the thing that we'd love to do. We're close. We're so close. That's probably it.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, like everything else is sort of ticking along pretty well, and the growth is good. But I feel like, I don't know, you just got to grow to as there's a certain point where that actually becomes possible because of obviously the non-billable staff and the hit it takes when you're not there. But for us, that'll be it. Have it run autonomously, profitably, and be able to pay for all my stupid toys, and also, be able to give those kids as much time as they deserve.
Love it, mate. So we might be asking the wrong person in the organisation this, but where do people go to find out more about you guys?
I don't know, website amae.net.au, YouTube. Off the back of that, I don't know what the channel's called, just Accelerate Auto Electrics. Just watch the videos of Briohny, not of me.
You pay people to know all this stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm definitely not a self-promoter.
Well, it is all the W's, AM for Mike, ae.net.au. Obviously, Accelerate Auto Electrics on YouTube. Go and check out their stuff. Go and watch some of Andrew's videos, and we'll put all the links in the show notes. Coxie, any final coaching you'd like to do with Andrew before we let him go?
We've bashed him around enough for one day. Thanks for your time, Andrew.
It's not what I expected. Do you know one thing I guarantee you? I will not listen to this.
No, it's been great, mate. And look, I think it's a good insight for people who. My big thing in talking to someone like you is too many people look at business owners like yourself and they forget that you started laying in a gutter, changing oil on cars, and it seems like an impossible reach from there to doing a lap around Australia with a 7-figure business that essentially runs itself.
I haven't done that yet.
Well, it's around the corner, and we might chat after this episode about setting a time limit on that one. But it's not an unreachable goal. So
No.
and it's not complicated stuff. So it's been great chatting, mate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Tradies in Business podcast with Warwick Bidwell and Nicole Cox. Find out more about today's guest, tools for your trade business, and other cool stuff at tradiesinbusiness.com.au.